Hey everybody, welcome tonight. It is Straight Up Talk Boston. I got Billy Pizzullo right here with you, with Joey Canzano, and our special guest for the night, Jimmy Shirts. All right, here we go.
Thank you, Billy.
All right.
Hi, Jimmy.
Hey, what's going on?
Thanks for
Joe?
being here tonight, buddy. I got a long history with you, but before we go on, I want to just say that Johnny Peasy could not be here tonight. Johnny, wherever you are, if he watches it tonight, I think he had another gig or something, Billy?
Yeah, he had a job to do. You got to make a living, right? You got to make a living.
With all his money, he couldn't have just taken the night off tonight. Anyways, Johnny, we miss you here tonight, buddy, but Billy set up the stage a little bit because we usually have a chair. That chair over there is in the middle, but good thinking, Billy, because it looks better without a chair there.
Yeah.
And anyway, what's up, Jimmy?
I love the cheers, by the way.
They're nice, aren't they? They
Yeah,
look
they
like
are.
Patrick Bet-David chairs.
Everybody really likes the furniture around here. It's pretty good.
Nobody compliments the table that I purchased. It was originally white. It was a lot sharper than
Actually, it was gray, and
What?
I painted it white.
this. It was gray?
It was gray, and then I painted it white, and then it kept shining in the TV in the back. So I had it painted flat black, so we could actually not get the reflection of the big white stripe in the middle of the television.
Well, anyway, I purchased this at where did I purchase it?
Oh my God! Oh, big money, Bob's Discount. A shameless plug for Bob's Discount.
I must have got it for 30 cents or something like that. I don't know. But anyway, Johnny's not here, but we have Jimmy Shirts here tonight, local actor, producer, and I guess we should start from the beginning, Jimmy, how it all started. That's what we want to get into. But before we do, and I have a tendency to talk over people, so Billy will actually be probably either bringing my mic down
I'm gonna mute
or
him.
telling me to
I'm
shut
going to mute him.
or either that or telling me to shut up. But before we go and start your career and talk about your career, I want to just tell that I go back a lot of years with Jimmy, and I was going through a horrible time at the point when Jimmy and I were hanging out a lot, going back to 2009, I believe, right, Jim?
Even before that.
Well, yeah, around. Well, you could be right. 2008,
2009.
yeah, 8 or 9. But I do remember going out with this guy a lot, and he got to be one of the most generous guys I've ever seen. We went out, and I don't think I ever pulled $1 out of my. Go ahead, say something. I'm a cheapskate, but that's not the case. He wouldn't allow it. He was just one of those guys. So I thank you for those days, Jimmy, getting me through some tough times, and it was fun. But at the end of the day, we still had to come home and deal with our nightmare. We've all been through a similar nightmare, Billy, myself. It's like a triangle.
Oh my God, we've all been
It's
there.
like tic-tac-toe. Anyways, back then, Jimmy, you were what I remember. You were just basically a developer, and
Construction and development.
and you're still doing that, by the way.
Still building.
And but how? Tell us, how did this all transition to? Because I never pictured you going in this direction ever.
I'll tell you something. It was. It's always been in the back of my head for many years. The thought would always pop in. You'd see something on TV, and you'd say to yourself, "Oh, gee, I love that character. I could see myself playing that role." And the thought would last for all of 2 minutes, and I'd say, "Fuck that, can't do it." You know, I had this weird aversion to anything with public speaking, anything with a stage. And it's funny because I just got off of my first ever stage performance at the Wilbur Theater last week. That was something that was a milestone for me.
Is that the biggest thing to date?
Well, I'll tell you something. It's totally different. So film and television and performing on stage is totally different, right? In film and television, there's forgiveness there. You know, you fuck up a line or whatever or something, reset, cut, and you're redoing the scene, right? But when you're live on stage and you're in that theater, atmosphere, it's one shot. That's it.
No doubt.
You know, you're there.
But before we go to the stage, which was that a week ago?
That was last week at the Wilbur Theater.
Okay, so bring us back to the beginning. First thing you did, second thing, connections you had to make to get to where you were last week. In other words, tell us about the ladder, the climb up. First step, starting what year
Well,
did it start?
Well, it's just 5 years ago now. This
It's
is
been
actually my anniversary.
2020.
Yeah, anniversary here.
You're right in the middle of COVID. You started this.
Yes. I started right then, and like I said, it was something I thought about for many years, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that thought, and what really I think got me there, was probably after watching Donnie Brasco for 19 times and watching
Great movie.
Yeah.
Great movie.
And watching Gotti for the 20th time, the original one with Amanda Sante.
Yeah,
that was my best. That was the favorite.
I can't even watch the one with Travolta.
No.
I just can't take it.
No,
You ever
it's
see
not the
that
same.
one?
It's just
Billy?
not the same. Not the same for me.
I always call him John Revolting.
Yeah. No, I mean I respect the guy.
But he's done some incredible acting. I've seen so many of his things that I was very impressed with Travolta's acting over the.
but not as John Gotti.
Not as John Gotti.
No, Amanda
Absolutely.
Sante.
Amanda Sante.
That was
Amanda
great.
Without a
Sante,
doubt.
The original, the best.
Amanda Sante's I've been one of my favorite actors for a very long time.
Yeah.
Paradise Alley, remember that?
He was in Paradise. Is that with Stallone?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, he was the oldest brother.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got to see that because I haven't seen that in years.
Really good movie.
So go ahead, Jimmy. Continue how it all started. Your
So it was probably
process.
It was probably after watching that for the 20th time, and finally pulling the trigger. So it's something I kept thinking about for a long time, and then finally I pulled the trigger. Finally, I applied to an academy in New York, Ted Body Studios. I studied there, Meisner technique, with them for a short period of time. And then I signed up with another coach here in Boston who was bi-coastal, who was in Boston, in L.A., fabulous person when I tell you, Rachel Baylett from Boston Casting and the Lee Strasberg Theater. That's who really got to me. Like, she really pulled things out of me in such a way, made me feel very comfortable.
This is your first.
My
did you have to-
first thing ever, getting out of the gate, was doing my classes and stuff with Boston Casting, and studying with
Who
Rachel.
was the girl that owns Boston Cast? She's a former comedian,
Angela Perry,
Angela Perry.
the best in the business.
Yeah, she's matter of fact, I wish Johnny was here because
Yeah.
Johnny is friends with
Yeah.
Angela. She was
her and Lisa. Yeah.
she started with comedy, stand up, I believe.
Yes. I did hear that.
I've never met Angela, but I could tell you what I can tell you that I do remember is when before my daughter was born, I remember calling her. This is when she took calls, Angela, and I remember mentioning Johnny's name. She knew Johnny well and in the comedy scene, and I remember her asking me, "Well, how old should I was trying to get my daughter into the child modeling, baby modeling." She goes, "How old is she?" I go, "She hasn't born yet." That's a true story.
Yeah.
I told Johnny, he goes, "You idiot!" But anyway, she's risen to the ranks now. She's up there,
Without
Risen.
doubt.
Rosen.
Risen.
Rosen. That's a Jewish name, Rosen. Rosenberg. Anyway, go ahead, Jimmy. I'm sorry.
Yeah, so it all started with that.
Yep.
With Boston Casting and studying with Rachel. Then on to doing classes with a dear friend of mine in New York, James Ciccone, Actors Axiom. Tremendous guy. He's what they call a true working actor. This guy's done some episodics, a lot of episodics actually. I look up to him. Very encouraging. Really fantastic experience with all of them. And then as things started to develop a little bit more, with a few roles, they, started out in background roles. It was just that guy you saw in the, walking by, or
Extras.
the guy at the bars, and as a background actor in that. And then I got on to meet a couple guys, a very talented kid from South Boston. My dear friend Charlie LaGrasso, who actually wrote the film that I did a few years ago called Shanahan the Bolt Job.
You
which
wrote
we-
that film?
Charlie was the writer. Charlie wrote it. South Boston kid, right from the streets in Southie. Awesome guy. He did a great job. He had this script, and then they changed it around for me to play the main character. So I jumped in. I got involved with him and another gentleman by the name of Norman Lang, who was the director, and we decided to set out to film Shanahan. And one of our first scenes that we shot was at St. Appios in East Boston. That was the first scene there. And it just came up as a memory, actually, today. My dear friend, you may know and remember Joe Ligotti.
Oh, of course.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Absolutely.
Joe was an absolute fucking legend.
When did he didn't pass
He just passed.
well,
Just passed
6 months?
just a few months ago.
over the summer?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you, Joe and I were supposed to go on to do another movie together, which I had another gentleman write for us, and I gave him all the notes as must-have moments that I wanted in this film. And Joe and I sat together, and Lawrence developed this script, off of the notes and stuff that I came up with, and must-have moments and scenes that I wanted to create and envisioned. And he put it together. And Joe and I were supposed to film that this past September.
How was Joe to work for? I didn't know him well.
Joe, let me tell you something. The scenes that we had together,
He was funny.
Was incredible. One of the scenes that we actually shot here in Wakefield at the lake, in the car, he had on his red sweater, and it wasn't even in the friggin' script. And he started off when I opened the door, got in the car, and he said, like pigeons on a fucking monument waiting for you. And it wasn't part of the script, and I laughed my fucking balls off.
He was a funny
And,
guy.
yeah, he was. He really was. I laughed my fucking balls off. And Yanni said, cut. And then I said to Joe, I go, listen, I want you to fucking do it again from the top. Do exactly what you just did. And we did it, and it worked. It stuck. It made the final cut for the film.
How many projects did you actually do with Joe?
So let's see. We did Shanahan, and we were supposed to do this other one. I actually had him written into another script, which he couldn't do. But we were supposed to go on and film this other one called Those Guys, and I had 5 little people lined up in that. I had a English bulldog. So you picture Joe. You know how big Joe is, And you picture these little people in the scene with him and this English bulldog, that had a head as big as his.
Was he a natural, Joe?
A natural.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
Do you know how far back I go with Billy? You remember
Personality.
Yeah.
Personality.
him? He was.
Absolutely.
As
so
big
that was
as
his
him.
first speaking role. I gave him his first speaking role in that film.
Now,
And I
do you-
went to Charlie and said to Charlie, I go, listen, this character, I really want Ligotti to play this character. And Charlie said to me, we're going to put his name as Tiny, and it fit him perfect.
Did you remember him, Billy, when he used to do the guy from Boston YouTube?
Absolutely.
He was doing
Best.
things, political stuff, 20 years ago before Facebook, before anybody was doing it. He was doing stuff that I started doing when Facebook came up, but way before on YouTube.
I say the things that you don't want to say, that you
No,
can't say.
I say the things that you have. No, I have the balls
Well,
to say that you're thinking.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like he got a lot of videos on there, but he was. I tell you, for the time, you're talking over 20 years ago, 20 plus years ago. He had balls to do what he was doing,
Yep.
and he actually he managed to get on Jay Leno,
Yes,
Yeah,
he did.
he did.
and he was on Neil Cavuto had him on Fox News a
He
lot.
did, yes.
So, anyway, so you had the first project. How many projects did you do with him? Did you say?
Well, just Shanahan
Okay.
Was the first project that we did together. That was his first speaking
Talking role.
Right. And he banged it out of the park.
Yeah.
Out of the park.
Oh, he was a
Phenomenal.
natural for sure.
Oh, yeah,
he
without a
was a
doubt.
big he was a big
Without a doubt.
personality as big as him.
Right.
He was a big guy, and I was shocked to hear that when he passed. And he might have been something. You never know what could have taken place because he was just starting to take off, right?
Yep.
And okay, so that was with him. Now, what else? What was that's your first project, right?
That was one of my first that I produced, that I
Okay.
got involved as executive producer and producer. and starring in that role is as Jimmy Shanahan, which is a great character, by the way, that Charlie wrote. I enjoyed it, and then we went on to probably, I would say, one of my best so far, and I can't wait for it to get out there, is Once a Week for Life.
Is that a movie or a series?
Well, it was set up initially. George had started out with that. He was actually the writer, the director, the producer, and starring in that film. It just went on and on and on. So my character, Matteo Giambrone, started out for what I thought was just one day going out to Astoria to film under the Hellgate Bridge, right where Pacino stood in that Serpico.
Serpico, one of my favorite movies of all time.
All right, so I stood right there where Pacino stood in Serpico, and I thought that was it. So I had 2 quick scenes to do, and I thought I was done. Well, that didn't happen, because now it turned out to be that I'm in like friggin' almost 22, 23 scenes in this thing, which kept evolving. I think that every day that passed, George just thought of something, and the next thing you know, it was part of the script. He just kept adding page after page after page.
What's that called? Improvising?
Improv, yeah.
Improv.
Well, improv would be unscripted, right?
Right.
So this was something where
rewrites.
the script just kept evolving, and he kept filming more and more and more days were added, and it just developed into something where it's this ginormous project that he had over 4 hours of edited film, right?
Right.
And they had it chopped up into what would have been season 1, 4 episodes as a series. He still has it that way, but then he went into re-edit it, and he came up with part 1 and part 2. So he's going to head out to the American film market this month and next week, and see about getting this thing sold and get it to the screen. And I just hope everybody has a chance to witness that and see it before this fucking alien spaceship slams into the fucking earth here.
What are they talking
I
about?
want to be on that fucking big screen, George.
You're talking about the asteroid that's supposed to be coming?
Yeah, I'm telling you, I don't know what's coming next. So who actually owns the film? Who is it? You guys?
Fiat Lux Studios. So George is Fiat Lux Studios.
Okay.
And that's who I was happy to get involved with as a producer.
Right.
I have a major role in that with my character, Matteo Giambrone. Absolutely love it. Great cast, fantastic people that I've gotten to work with on that. Many cast members from The Sopranos. My favorite, my dear friend John Fiore, who played Gigi
Yeah.
in The Sopranos. John Bianco, Robert Finaro. I mean, the list goes on with these guys.
Did you have to pinch yourself sometimes, Jimmy, to know you're acting? And you started late in the
Late in
business.
life, very late,
Do you,
right?
do you find yourself pinching yourself to actually think that you did this, you accomplished something like this, and continue to at a late age like this?
Right.
It's amazing.
Right, exactly. And the thing is, too, that, more things have developed since that time, since we filmed that, since the last scenes that we did. And then I went on to film another one with a couple dear friends, right from the Boston area, right from Boston here. And we went on to film Fletcher's 5. So Fletcher's 5 was written by my friend John Mers. It was created by my dear friend Jay Street, who directed it. It was Jay's project. And I had the opportunity to jump in with this. I had seen a couple scenes that they had done, which I thought was shot very well. I thought the writing was great. I thought the writing, the editing, the color, everything was fantastic. So I decided to jump in. And they wrote this amazing character for me. I played Dominic Scalatelli. And I brought a lot of things into that film. And I gave them a wish list. And I said to them, what do you need? You want a restaurant? You want a boat? You want cars? What do you want? You want a prison? And it ended up that I got them to prison. We shot at South Bay. Abe and Louis in Boston, we shot there. We had Bentleys, we had Ferraris, we had a $4 million yacht in there, warehouses. It was just a great thing. And the character that they wrote for me, absolutely loved my role as Scalatelli.
Incredible.
Yeah.
Jeremy, how quick did you get a gig while you were still being trained in the school, or was it after you graduated the school or finished the course?
Well, the training never stops.
Right.
Training never stops. You got to. It's like a muscle. You know, you got to keep working at it, right? And whenever I could jump in and do a scene with somebody, you know, I mean, let's face it. You know, independent films, working with friends,
Right.
and stuff in this business. There's no shortage, by any means, of actors. Okay, no shortage. A lot of the roles, like tonight, I got to bang out 2 auditions I just got, right? And it's me and 999 of my other best
Oh,
friends
it's a tough business.
that are going for that one fucking role.
Right.
And I guess there's no rhyme or reason. You got to do your job.
Is there politics involved?
No, it's all in you producing and you doing the work.
Right, but we've all heard over the years in Hollywood that if you know the right people.
Well, I mean, I guess that's to say about some things. If a particular director or executive producer wants you for a specific role.
Well, what I'm saying is, let's suppose you're up for a part and you're perfect for it, but somebody else is friends with the director.
It's happened.
That's what I'm saying. So
it has happened. I'm not gonna say it hasn't.
There's
but-
always going to be politics involved to some degree, but
But I think it's all in your performance. And I just
Exactly.
had this conversation with my manager just a couple days ago, and we were talking about the audition process, right? And how it's not just reading the lines. So anybody can read fucking lines,
Right.
Anybody can read the fucking paper, all right? But it's what you bring to the role.
absolutely.
And how you make it your own.
It's absolutely true, and I'll tell you why. Relating to being a vocalist, as Billy can attest to this, that when you sing a song, when I look back at when I first started singing, I sang the lyric, I sang on key, but there was nothing. There was just blah. It was no emotion to it. In other words, you did. It wasn't believable. The lyric that I was singing wasn't believable. Am I right, Billy? It has to have some sort of a passion to it, and the same thing goes with acting.
Right. Exactly.
Without question.
So the thing is, in other words, like the conversation I just had with my manager, Marilyn, was it's your time. It's your time in front of them to show
Shine.
them what Jimmy Shirts brings to the role.
Absolutely.
Okay, so like I say, you gotta take. Sometimes you gotta take the risk. You gotta take the chances.
Billy
right?
had a situation.
You don't take
almost
the chance, you're not gonna get it.
very similar situation, Billy, when you were at the Apollo.
Oh, I did the Apollo. I did the Apollo Theater. My goodness, back in '90. I want to say '91, maybe '90, and crazy amount of people auditioning, and with vocalists, you better be really good within the first 10 seconds,
Right.
because that's all you get. That's all you get. You get 7 to 10 seconds. So when I first went to the first audition, it was in a big room with a whole bunch of people, and we got up. Each one of us got up, and 10 seconds. Okay, thanks. And the next one, same thing. Okay, thanks. And it got to the point where it was. We'll call you back. So I got a phone call. I came back to Boston, went all the way back to New York on a recall. Got back, went there, plane tickets, all that stuff, whatever. 7 seconds, literally 7 seconds, saying, boom, boom, we'll call you back. And I ended up on at Showtime at the Apollo, and I didn't win. I mean, there's so many other people that are involved, and things are political to a degree when it comes to musicians. I auditioned for X Factor, X Factor and what's the one everybody does? The Americans Got
American
Talent.
Idol?
Americans Got Talent. I'm too old for Idol. Idol stopped at 28. They stopped at the age group. But so anyways, so I auditioned for America's Got Talent, and they were great. Some good people, but a lot of the stuff that they pushed through was just goofy, stupid, good TV stuff.
Right.
People that absolutely sucked,
Right.
to be honest with you.
Right.
And when I did X Factor, though, X Factor was amazing. I sat in a room with some of the best vocalists I've seen all across from the country. I mean, they came. People flew into Boston, and I ended up they flew into Boston, and I think the actual thing was in Rhode Island, but neither here nor there. But they let people go home that were so talented. Yeah. It was unbelievable. When I did America's Got Talent, my audition in New York, I flew into New York, did the audition. Three people down from me, I can't remember the kid's name. I wish I could, but this big, heavy black kid, and we were singing, and as they were coming down the side, they got to him, and he says, "Do you mind if I do a couple of songs?" He says, "You got 90 seconds. You can do whatever you want in that 90 seconds." Right. So sure enough, they did the 90 seconds. He started off with the most soulful version I have ever heard of New York State of Mind. Blew Billy Joel out of the water. And then halfway through it, he stopped and he did The Prayer by Andrea Bocelli. The room, when he opened his mouth, the room shook. I said, "Listen to me." I said, "Remember my name." I said, "I'm Billy Pizzullo, and I'm telling you, you're winning this whole thing." He said, "You think so, really?" I said, "Yeah." I said, "Write my name down." I'm not kidding. Write my name down, good. I'm telling you. Sure enough, he won the $1 million.
Wow.
Imagine that.
Wow.
But it's again, like what you were saying,
There
are politics involved.
Right.
But when it comes right down to it, ultimately, it's you got to impress them. If you're not what they're looking
It's
for,
got to be what they're looking for.
Yeah,
exactly.
If it's not if you don't fit the role that they're putting, it doesn't matter who you know.
But going back to what Jimmy started saying before I brought you up as an example, he said his coach said it's your time to shine. Just like you had the Apollo, that was your time to shine, and you have to either
Well, it's during the audition process.
Right.
The audition, same thing.
It's for you to bring it.
Yes.
You got to bring it.
Yeah.
You got to make it your own.
No doubt.
No
question. I find when people are videoing me, and if I'm playing at a lounge or wherever, and people I find more. I don't know what it is. Some people choke.
Right.
I feel more of a showy. More of a show off when this camera's rolling. I don't know why. Even if your voice is not right, I still feel like I'm going to do something to grab the audience because you're live. Oh, people are recording you.
Right.
On the other hand, I've had people video me over the years, and I didn't know they were recording, and I say, "Oh God, take that down, please."
Right.
Well, that's the thing. The thing too is like he said, even when you're doing it, if you're going in there and you're singing a Frank Sinatra song, and you sound like Frank Sinatra. They already got a Frank Sinatra. They don't need you.
Sure,
you're useless. Right. You know what? If you have a authentic sound as a vocalist,
original,
or if you can turn the character into something that they've never seen before, that catches their eye, and they're like, "Whoa, that was really cool." I mean, like Henry Winkler with Fonzie.
Yeah,
right.
When he walked in the door, he became Fonz.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? He had the leather jacket, came out with the leather jacket, did all that.
Yeah,
it's a good
like
example. Me, Billy, now when I wear the shirts,
Yeah.
The other night I felt like fucking Clark Kent because I just had on a regular shirt.
Now, I want to get back into the actor. So, so you've been doing this 5 years. I want to know how many projects you've been, been involved in. How many are coming up ahead of you? Who are some of the most prominent people you've worked with? Who are some of the people you didn't enjoy working with? Just basically I guess a
Don't
sketch.
don't do that to the poor guy. I didn't like working with him.
No, I know. It's like talking about Paul.
Let me just first say that there's so many people that I've met in this journey that I hold very near and dear to my heart, that have been very encouraging to me, okay, and very helpful to me in a number of ways. And I got to mention my one of my brothers here, local guy, Boston guy, lives in Peabody. My dear friend Arthur Hugh. Arthur and I worked together on a few projects. My boy Bruce Buster Socia, another one, phenomenal guy, great person, good-hearted guy, family guy. There's so many of them that I've had the privilege of meeting and working with, right? And I can't forget George Zuvalos.
Are these guys
New York.
actors?
So they are. George is also a writer. George is directing. George is giving me my role as playing Dominic. As Matteo Giambrone, in Once a Week for Life. So hopefully, that'll be coming out really soon. To try to get this thing to a streaming platform
Are you
somewhere.
are you taking Jimmy anything that comes your way? Or are you being selective?
At first I was. I would have roles that would be sent to me, and then I would read the role and I would just say to myself, I'm not fucking feeling this at all. I had the conversation once with my coach, Rachel, and I would always say to Rachel, all I want is all the fucking wise guy roles. That's it. That's all I want.
Comfort.
Play a wise guy. And she'd say, Jim, why do you want to limit yourself?
Yeah,
Why?
pigeonhole yourself.
Exactly.
You don't want to do that.
Exactly. And another lady out of Rhode Island, casting person out of Rhode Island, Ann Mulhall, great person, said the same thing, And they got me to look at different things. And one of the exercises that they gave me to go home with was to read a role in Something's Gotta Give with Jack Nicholson,
Great
right?
movie.
And Diane Keaton, God rest her soul.
Yeah.
She died.
She
just like
died.
last week,
Yeah,
right?
like a couple weeks ago.
Yeah.
I didn't even hear that.
Yeah.
But I got that
Yeah.
directive to try to take things that way and try to take a different approach and a tone, right?
Right.
To be a little bit more on like a comedic side of things. And then another agent that I was looking to go with had also suggested that to me. Like in my reel, it was all typical roles of a wise guy, boss,
Right.
leg breaker, and they wanted things that showed a different side. And I got that chance finally to do it. And I played a major in the Army with Alec Baldwin's brother, Daniel.
No kidding.
I shot that in L.A. They're going to be having a private screening of that in Philly next month. And then I just recently, I did a horror flick from my friend Stu. And it was called Death Comes Calling.
Mm-hmm.
And we just had a premiere last month in Rhode Island.
So your
and
manager
that
was
showed-
basically trying to give you advice not to get typecast.
not to get handcuffed.
Yeah. Well, they call it
At the time,
Yeah.
not to be exactly like Billy said, pigeonholed into one specific thing, right?
Right.
And you got to give yourself the chance and to work that. And as I started to develop that a little bit more opportunities came about, more different roles.
Right.
What's
you
your
know?
favorite one to date? Is it a movie or is it a? No, I guess another question I was going to ask is: are you looking to do movies, or would you like to get a series?
I think anybody would love to have a series,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Episodic television,
Yeah.
as opposed to film, right?
Really?
Oh yeah, without a doubt. I mean,
Even though,
but a big thing for me right now is I'm going back to Brooklyn
Right.
next week. I got 2 weeks in Brooklyn that I'm working on season 3 of Gravesend.
Okay.
Okay, and
Was you in the first two?
No, so season 1 and season 2, they're out. They're on Amazon Prime and Tubi.
So you're being added to the third season?
I'm in season 3.
No
So
kidding.
season 3, they got Shaquille O'Neal in season 3. They've had a lot of
Is it a good part?
great actors. My role is Frank Tito.
Mm-hmm.
I love the character that Willie developed for me. I really appreciate every opportunity that comes my way, right? Anywhere where I have a chance to perform
Right.
and like spring out and stuff. I look at it and I say to myself, yeah, I could do that character.
Did you ever have a desire to do comedy?
I'll tell you something. A few people have brought that to my attention. A few people have encouraged me. I did do a couple little skit things back, I don't know, several years ago, which I buried, you know. But I have had that discussion many a times. And a few of the recent roles and stuff that have been presented to me, it's a little bit more on that sort of tone,
Right.
as opposed to the mob genre, which really, realistically, that's where I,
Yeah, we have that. We all.
that's my
anybody
comfort,
from-
comfort zone.
Yeah. Anybody from around here, we have that.
Listen, when you've been
then,
around it your whole life and
You-
you know it, you've seen it, you've
we
been
have
through it
that
and stuff.
flair in our voice.
Well, everybody
Exactly.
from The Sopranos was
Exactly.
basically a street guy.
Oh my God!
You
So
know, you go back to Frank-
I'll tell you something. Working with a number of those guys, Bobby Finaro, John Bianco, Tony Darrow, John Fiore, Frank Santarelli, who I absolutely love. You know Frank,
Of course.
the comedy.
Yeah.
I was just with him and John last week at my friend's restaurant, G Bar in Swampscott. So
Have you done anything with Frank?
Frank and I were going to do something. We were going to have Frank in once a week for life, but it didn't work out. But Frank's really, really solid people with
Yeah,
me.
I've
you
worked with
know?
him several times. Yep.
Really, really solid.
Good guy.
I like Frank a lot. And John, I've had the privilege and the honor to work with John on a couple projects. We have a very, very, very intense scene that we shot at Rosaria's.
No kidding.
Yeah. Very intense scene we shot at Rosaria's.
In the bar area,
Right in the gauntlet of the where the wines are,
yeah.
the hallway there.
Yep.
And the way it was shot, the way they decided to shoot it, the DP and George, the way they decided to use the mirrors, the scene looks incredible. It's actually one of the most intense scenes in the entire film. Is that scene with me and John? So it's one of my favorites.
What's
actually.
the theme of the scene?
I'm going to see him after a sit-down meeting with my boss and underboss, having a little discussion, and him acting like a dick. And we had history together. Like, we went back. I was actually a former police officer there. And then I strayed. I went the other way. And, he went on to say, yeah, you should have stuck with me, But it was a great scene.
Yeah.
One of my favorites, actually. And I can't wait for all to see it,
What is the next thing coming out that people can see, Jimmy, at this moment?
Well, we're waiting to see what happens this week with Once a Week for Life. Mm-hmm. Fingers crossed on that one to see which avenue he's going to go. There has been a few offers. There has been some discussion. But like I said to George, I go, it's your call. Mm-hmm. It has nothing to do with me. It has to do with you and your entertainment attorney to, look through things and make sure you're not getting fucked. Mm-hmm. And, just take the right path.
It's a tough business, no
yeah,
question
it is.
about it.
Absolutely. I mean, they'll steal your intellectual property. You go out there with a script in hand, and they'll fucking nail it from you. I mean, if you don't have every I dotted and T crossed and have somebody that knows what the fuck they're doing, you know, to look after your best interest.
Well, what about stand up?
Like any business. Like any business.
Absolutely. What about stand up comedians that get their material stolen all the time? I mean, we know plenty of people that have complained about that, local comics, and you know, there's a lot of thievery in that, and there's nothing you can do. What do you do?
Yeah.
Same thing, you know. You're not going to believe this. I was going to say that before I forget. I am probably the only person in the country, maybe of the planet, that never, ever watched an episode of The Sopranos.
Get the fuck out of here.
On my right hand, my right hand to God. I knew he was gonna say this.
What the fuck?
I swear to God, not one single episode. Maybe a
One
minute.
of the best. One of
I
the-
know. I'm gonna
one
hear.
of one of the best. Like,
I've been told it's the greatest. I've been told people from people across the country that say you're from Boston, East Coast, and you've not a second.
wow.
I just don't know why I can't answer that, Jimmy. I know you're going to say exactly what Billy said, and everybody has ever. Once you start, you will be addicted.
Right.
I don't think I have the mental capacity to focus on anything.
No, you got to start it from the beginning. though.
Bingo.
You really do.
And I don't have that.
You really do.
I don't.
You can't
And,
jump in
and you
in
know
the
something?
middle.
At one point, we had a local guy, and he's originally from East Boston, Frank Renzulli.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure. From Maverick Projects.
Frankie was
grew
a
up with
writer.
Johnny Peasy.
Frankie wrote 3 years.
First 3 years.
First 3 99, I think 2000, 2001.
We've
and
talked
then another
about-
episode and another one. So
We talked about this.
the best. The best.
Well, I don't
The
know him
best.
personally, but I know Johnny grew up with him, but I do know about him. And when Gigi was here, we talked about that Uncle Junior was modeled after a J.R. Russo. The same look, the same hat. I got a picture of it. I wish we could get it up on the screen. I'd have to find it. But if you look at this picture of Joe in the 80s in Maverick Square,
Right.
it's
Shop
Uncle
this guy
Junior.
around.
It's
Right.
Uncle Junior.
Right.
So Frankie, without a doubt, I believe, I mean, I know for a fact, I don't know for a fact, but I assume since he did write the first 3 seasons, right?
And those were the best.
And
Some
Uncle
of those
Junior
characters that he developed.
was Uncle.
You know?
I'm acting like Uncle Junior, like I know who he. I never
I
watched the
remember-
show.
I remember Vince Curtitola telling me one time, because I actually studied a little bit with Vince. I met Vince through John Fiore down in Atlantic City. And it was like a Sopranos con. And a lot of the cast were there, you know. And I met him and talked to him. And he actually introduced me in one of the classes to say that I was a dear friend of John Fiore's who played Gigi, and then about his character. He was telling me about how Frank wrote that character, Johnny Sacks. So
Did you know Frank Renzulli?
I met Frank a couple times many years ago, but does he remember who I am? Probably not, because I wasn't even in the business at that time.
I've never met him, but a dear friend of ours, Dave Felizi. He
Dave,
was
yeah,
married
of
to
course,
his
yeah,
sister.
Dave, absolutely.
Ann, was her
Yeah.
name Ann? His wife Ann? I think her name is Ann. Anyway, he was married. I don't think he's married right now, but I think he was married to Frankie's sister.
Right.
Yeah, it's a small world, but I never met Frank, but I heard a lot of things about him. And
Anna,
that's her.
Yeah.
I called her
Anna.
Anna. Yes.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's her brother.
Yes.
But I wish Johnny was here because Johnny, he grew up in the Maverick Projects with Frankie.
Right.
But yeah, Frankie supposedly also, I was told that Frank was a part of the Bronx Tale.
That's true.
With Chaz Palminteri.
Yeah,
Did you ever meet Chaz?
I have met Chaz.
What do you think
as
of
a
him?
matter of fact, in one of the scenes that I'm filming down in Long Island, Chaz is in that scene.
Could you tell us the story? Do you know anything about the story regarding him? And no, you don't want to get into that. Well, the story I heard, you don't have to comment on it, Jimmy, but the story that I've heard and everybody heard that Chaz supposedly
Stole the script.
ripped off the script from Frank.
Right.
Now, is it true? I don't know. That's why I was questioning. But again, if you'd rather not comment on it, but again, it's a cutthroat business, like you said earlier. I mean, you just never know.
Like you said, will steal. They have no problem stealing your intellectual property.
Right. Exactly.
If you go to L.A. or anywhere, New York, wherever, with a script in hand, you better have it copywritten. You better have it.
Right.
It needs to be what's the other thing? Not just copywritten, but it's something like ASCAP. It has to be taken care
Trademarked.
of. Thank you. Trademark.
Well, that goes back to even Stallone. Stallone doesn't own Rocky anymore. Did you know that?
Isn't that something?
No. He, I forget who the guy was, the original producer, Jewish name, and Stallone wouldn't play was the final Rocky with the black fighter. He was supposed to be trained. He wouldn't play. There was a bad fallout. So in other words, even the smallest level and to the biggest level, he doesn't.
You're talking
have it.
about Creed.
Creed. Stallone
yeah.
wouldn't have
Creed-
anything to do with it.
Creed, he was in the first one. Stallone trained the kid in the first movie.
Okay.
Yeah, the kid. That was I personally, I think Stallone didn't own the rights to the movie, but it's still it's one of his best works.
There's
As far as an actor goes, I thought he was absolutely phenomenal.
Well, if you look it up, there is a bad fallout with Stallone, and I forget the guy's
That's
name.
probably why he didn't when that's why they probably named it Creed instead of Rocky.
Yeah.
987.
Can you imagine being on that level?
You know what I mean? But yeah, so that's probably why that's probably why they didn't.
But can you imagine being on that level, one of the greatest movies, dynasties ever, and still having problems with kind of intellectual property?
You got the same thing going on in the music business,
Oh,
man.
absolutely.
I mean, people's been there's. You remember the Herb Reed and the Platters?
Yeah.
Well, Herb,
Yeah.
he had to be Herb Reed and the Platters because Tony, I can't think of his last name, one of the original singer from the lead singer from the Platters. He owned the name The Platters. So Herb Reed, they went to court, did this big fight and all this stuff. He ended up being Herb Reed and the Platters. Now there's nobody that's left in the Platters that is original.
Right.
It goes that way with everything. I mean, my buddy, I used to be very, very close friends with the Spiral Staircase, the guys that did More Today Than Yesterday. And he fought for 3 years while I knew him to get the name, the Spiral Staircase. And he finally, 3 years it took him to go to court and to get the name. You would have thought Pat Upton owned it. He did not. A corporation owned the name, the Spiral Staircase.
Well, that's the same thing with the band Boston. Boston is owned by, I don't know his name, but it's not. It wasn't a group. It was owned, and Bon Jovi is owned by Bon Jovi. He hired Richie Sambora and the whole. They worked for him.
Right.
So it was Bon Jovi, not like the Beatles were a group or the Stones. This was owned by one person, Bon Jovi, and I don't know the owner of the Boston group, but it was one owner, and they all worked for him. It's amazing. You never know these things.
You think it's again cutthroat, very legal, a lot of legalities.
Look
and
at
a
Michael
lot of
Jackson.
Jackson on with the Beatles catalog. I know that's crazy.
It doesn't stop. So
It's
the level is unbelievable.
If you got enough money, I guess you can do pretty much anything. But like you said, if you're writing a script, you definitely got to trademark it. You got to copyright it so that nobody can steal the whole idea, the whole aspect of it.
Do you write a lot, Jimmy?
No, I don't.
Do you have any inspirations of interest in?
You know something? If you ask me to write something, oh my God, it could be a simple task. And write me 10 pages. It would take me fucking 3 weeks to write it. Meanwhile, it would take somebody else like 10 minutes.
You're talking
right?
to a guy who can't sit down and
I
watch
can't-
an hour of Sopranos.
exactly.
I
Well,
can't focus. I have
yeah.
ADHD.
It's not my.
It's a serious
not my
condition.
thing.
No, the
It's not
funny
my
the
thing.
funny thing is the guy sitting next to you, Jimmy. He has stories on top of stories on top of stories,
Right.
and I've been busting his balls for like 5 years now. Sit down. I'll sit down with you. Let's write it out.
Right.
Let's write it out, and we'll see what we got to do to pitch it to make it a movie.
Right.
Well,
I mean, it's his dream, but he doesn't want
Right.
to do it.
Well, it goes back to our friend Steve. Him and I grew up together, and I'm not joking. Now, listen, I'm not sitting here, Billy, saying that my life is any more unique than some guy in East Boston or North End or New Jersey or Philadelphia.
No,
or
but
New
you'll
York.
remember the stories.
The stories I remember, but they're no different. The only difference is I have a memory that probably a little more. Maybe it's a condition. Maybe it's a mental condition. I can remember things, dates, times. Yesterday I can't. But if you tell me a song, if I hear a song right now in the 70s, I'll tell you the year it come out or within a year. So my point is, what he's saying is my life it wouldn't be any more unique than any other guy that yourself. You grew up in East Boston, any corner, Bronx Tale. That was any one of us, right? Bronx Tale.
Yeah, but see, you can't look at it that way because each story that you tell me, it's unique. You know what I'm saying? It's
Yes.
got its own things, and if you put that on paper and you cast the right people, and put that before people are going to be on the floor laughing for
Well,
starters.
that's a lot of luck to
And-
involve, Billy, because Jimmy could tell you some stories. Gino's here; he could tell you stories on the North End. You know,
course.
we all could. So I think it's a little bit of luck involved when it comes to that, and perseverance. I don't have it. I don't have that the brain to focus. I've always had. When I was in school, Jimmy, I couldn't focus. I mean, today they put me on Ritalin.
Me either.
You know, like Johnny Peasy has a great story, a great joke. Is when today they have everybody diagnosed as ADD, ADHD,
Right.
and
And
to
then
me it's a lot of CRAP.
Yeah.
Because when we were kids, we were just stupid.
That's right.
You just put what's the matter with Joey? Oh, you leave him alone. He's an idiot.
Yeah, my father had the cure for ADHD.
Crack across
It
the
was,
mouth.
it was a belt about this thick.
We grew up in a different time.
Right.
You know what I mean?
I personally, Jimmy, not to get off the subject of, we'll get back to that, but it all stems that I believe that the world has changed so much that when we were kids, our generation, we all would have been diagnosed with medication.
Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
We didn't shut up. We talked. We couldn't focus.
Yeah.
I mean, we survived.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing is they get the chemical companies. They want to
Bingo.
They want to make. They
Bingo.
just want to make a fortune, and they're doing it. And the doctors got on board because they were getting duped in the back on the back end. So they put all of the kids in that generation. They put them all on drugs.
The
Crazy.
stories that I believe that could be great scripts, Jimmy, even for yourself to write things, are the true stories.
Yeah.
Your family, as you were a little boy with the family, the laughter, the holidays, the funny relatives, the uncles. You know, you grew
Right.
up. You grew up in Webster Street, right?
Webster Street, Jeffreys Point.
Now you still got that property?
My mom.
That's
My
a
mom's there. My
what's it
sister's
a three? It's a multifamily. It's
Three.
It's a beautiful property.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, it's a brownstone, Billy, right?
Yeah.
And it overlooks the
whole
water
skyline.
and the skyline.
Yeah.
So you got the double. Forget
Yeah,
it.
yeah.
I mean,
And they're trying to block your view.
Yeah.
Aren't
They'll
they?
never
They're-
do
they're-
it. It
They're
gets
trying.
impo-
They're trying so
They
hard.
can't. The ocean's in front of him.
Right.
Oh, that's
behind.
perfect.
He can't
That's
block.
perfect.
He's
It's not-
immune.
You don't have that long thing that's in front of like all those apartments that where the ship is.
No,
that everybody-
she's got the marina right in front
He's
of her.
on
The old
Webster
ship-
Street.
yeah.
You know who lived on Webster Street? Tell him. The Kennedys.
Oh, yeah.
You know the house they lived in?
No.
I think I
no.
know it.
I did hear that, though.
Oh yeah, Joe
Yeah,
Kennedy
back in the
lived on.
day.
Matter of fact, I don't think the president was JFK was born there, but I think possibly the older than JFK. Then they moved to Beale Street in Brookline, and that's where he was born. But Webster Street is the original location for JFK. Joe Kennedy is a fact. It's right on the same street where Jimmy's mom is. Your mother's still with us?
Yes.
God bless.
Yeah.
But Joe Kennedy had a home on Webster Street, right where Jimmy's house is, and he was the youngest bank president in Boston, or the country rather. And the building is still there, where the security company was once.
Minuteman Security. It was Liberty Security at the time.
It was Liberty Security at the time when Steve's father, Mimi, owned it,
Okay.
right.
and Buddy Marino. Remember
Oh,
Buddy?
Buddy.
And
The
Mimi.
best.
Buddy's Sagisi's grandfather.
Best, yes.
You know Stevie.
Yes.
Anyway, Buddy and Mimi were partners, and
Dead shop.
yeah, he was
Dead
awesome.
shop. Dead
And
shop.
they had a building on Meridian Street, right where Meridian Mart was, right across from the building is right across from the police station.
Yes.
Okay, so you know the area.
Yes.
I'm not
Next to
telling
the
you.
gas station. Yes,
Exactly.
had the gas
They used to
station
own the
there years
gas
ago.
station.
Yeah. I remember that.
We can tell you
I remember.
stories about them. Mark
I remember. I
Gigley
used to go
work
in there with
there.
flat tires. Stevie used to fix it for me.
Remember, you know Mark used to work. Mark Gigley used to work there. He used to pump gas.
Yes.
We were kids.
Yeah.
But anyway, that building next to the gas station where Mimi and Buddy owned, they had a building, and it was an old bank. And they had Minuteman's Liberty Security was in there. Stevie actually went down. So this is a true story. He went down in the basement, of course, right, looking for money. But he found a copy of a will, Billy, of the JFK will, some sort of a will. It wasn't original, of course, but it's a true story. I think that was the building that the old man Joe Kennedy, when he lived on Webster Street, was the president of. Imagine that. A lot of history in Boston.
Yeah.
East Boston.
Absolutely.
But that's a beautiful property your mom's got.
Yeah, yeah.
But getting back to the writing and all that
Writing.
stuff, I mean, like you said, true stories in which every single one of the stories that you've told me are all true stories that you've been. But those are the ones sitting down and writing. I mean, you know what you lived.
Yes.
It's a matter of just taking every thought of what happened at that time, and like who's sitting around the table.
Right.
Where's Uncle whoever, right?
right.
And Auntie, and they're going back and forth. Who said what to who? You know what I mean? And you bang that out.
Well,
I mean-
I think more of our thing. Me and Steve were talking about it. Billy was there too. We'd be sitting down and chatting, and we at one point he actually said, "Come up the house some night up in Linfield and we'll write and write." Starting from the minute we met, because I'm telling you, everybody had laughs, but our laughs were in another level. I mean, my whole life was a joke.
Right.
That's all we did was laugh. It was just one life, a comedy reel. We took nothing serious. We learned nothing in school. We were all fuck-ups. We were in classes with legitimate Down syndrome. They put us in the classes. I mean, it was, whether it was fun or not, but we had a blast.
Yeah.
And they were really, we didn't belong in those classes, really, but it's something that could be written down, part of our childhood.
Right.
And, Billy thought it was interesting, and I just never followed up. I don't have the patience, Jimmy, so maybe
Yeah.
you're the same way.
You weren't in the 766 class, were you?
I was in 7-3. There was 7-1, 7-2, 7-3. 7-1 was for the smart kids. 7-2 was for the medium. And I don't have to tell you what 7-3 was for. Yeah, that's where I was.
Okay.
And I had more fun. I wouldn't change a thing. If you ever put kids in those classes today, I mean,
Yeah.
was it right? We didn't really belong there, Jimmy, but we were fuck ups.
Yeah.
We didn't do nothing. We clowned. We loved it because we didn't have to do any work. But I think I have the same thing you have when it comes to writing, Jimmy. I don't think I could focus. Is that your problem?
Yeah, that's absolutely a problem.
Then how do you focus on studying
Absolutely.
How do you focus on
It's taken a
studying
while. It's taken
a script?
It's taken.
I couldn't do that.
It's taken time. It's your job.
Do you got ADHD?
I probably do have that and then some.
We all got
You know?
it.
But like Johnny Peasy says,
telling
it's a
you.
lot of CRAP.
Yeah.
No, Jimmy, I
it's a lot.
admire you
There's a lot
because
involved.
I have a hard time learning a new song. I mean, I'm so lazy. I'm so unfocused. And when you tell me how you can read a script, how many pages do you have to read?
It depends.
What's a minimum?
It all depends. It all depends on the story. It all depends on the character. It all depends on what your role is. But obviously, you want to know the story, right?
Yeah,
you want to know as much details as you can gather.
Yeah.
But
but
it's-
it's,
what's going on.
If you're doing a 10-minute monologue, even when there's people in the room, you're doing 10 minutes. 10 minutes is a lot of reading.
So I just had to do one. I just did 2 long monologues at the Wilbur Theater.
yeah, tell us about that.
Yeah, it was absolutely tremendous experience.
I wanted to get to that.
That was fantastic for me. I mean, the most iconic theater in all the city.
Yeah,
the
absolutely.
Wilbur Theater in Boston.
It's owned by Jackie Gateman.
You know, I truly Herman has written and done, and like I said, New York Times best-selling, award-winning #1 author, crime author, right? And I've been to a number of his shows in the past. Him and another gentleman that writes with him, David Wedge, another phenomenal writer. But it's all true crime, and this thing was very special for me because it was my first stage performance.
Oh, that was your first live?
That was my first stage performance, live stage.
You know, Al Pacino performed on
know?
that stage.
Well, I knew that Marlon Brando,
He did?
but Marlon Brando performed there.
Really? I know Pacino did
Somebody took me to the dressing room and said, "Hey, this was Marlon Brando's dressing room."
Imagine
You
that.
know?
That's something. I know Pacino played a movie, a play called American Buffalo in the early 80s. But yeah, it was the. Did you know Jackie? Do you know Jack Gateman?
I've heard the name. I
Yeah.
know through my dear friend Jerry Maffeo, God rest
Jerry,
his soul.
yep.
I used to always hear
Jackie's-
about Jackie.
Jackie's a
Yeah.
good guy. He's still with us, Jackie. He owned Renzo down the beach, and I believe he still owns the Wilbur Theater, along with Lou Del Pidio, who owns the Roxy across
Lou.
the street.
I know. Yeah, I know. Lou.
They're partners. Yeah. I've never seen a show there, but I would love to. I wish I knew, Jimmy, that you were there.
Yeah.
I would love to.
We were there one night, October 30th.
Do you think you'll be back there at all? With another?
Oh, I'm sure he will. I'm sure he will. I know he's on to another one he just announced. So as to when it's going to happen, I don't know. Probably won't be till 2026.
Before we wind this up, I wanted to talk about the Jimmy Shirts thing. We've talked about everything else, the acting and the start. And how did the shirts, the Jimmy Shirts start?
Oh, Jesus! I've been collecting this brand, the Robert Graham shirts, since probably 2008, 2009, 2008, and I've had a very extensive collection of the shirts over the years. And when Steve DiFilippo from Davio's, up in Linfield, opened that location, I would be in there 3, 4, 5 nights a week. And two of the head bartenders that he had at the time, a gentleman by the name of Dean and another gentleman, Adam, who went by the name of AC, they'd see me come through the door every night, and they'd see the shirt, one of the shirts on. And then one night they just came out with it together, both at the same time. It said, Jimmy Shirts. So it stuck with me since that time.
You could definitely put out a product. I mean, did you ever think of doing that? And Jimmy Shirts, a line of shirts. Billy looks like he could fit right in right now tonight.
Yeah,
I've been Jimmy Shirts.
I've been a shirt collector for I can't tell you how long. Back when Rebel Spirit was out there, and all those different was the Rock Revival. All those things came. They were all out. There was a ton of different.
Yeah, Billy likes the shirts too.
I love the fancy shirts.
Yeah.
Well, being a performer in when you're entertaining.
Lenny loves these too.
Lenny Clark. Yeah.
Lenny's every time you see Lenny on stage, he's always got a freaking Robert Graham shirt on.
Yeah, and Johnny's actually
Johnny Jackets, right? Johnny wears the jackets.
That's me, the jacket. Johnny likes the flashy. I like the regular, solid, conservative jacket. That's my thing. But Johnny likes the flashy jackets. Speaking of jackets, Billy, did you bring my jacket?
I did not bring the jacket. I forgot. Next time I see you,
Johnny gave him a nice Elvis jacket, and
nice.
Billy beat me to the punch, so he got it. But now he wants to give it to me, so I'm kind of looking forward to it. It's a winter jacket. Don't give me it by spring.
I won't. I'll give it to you.
It's a great jacket.
Very soon, I will give it to you.
Well,
but
go ahead.
No,
I was going to say, Jimmy. We only usually do about an hour, so as we're winding down, I want to just tell you that I'm proud of what you've been doing, and I seen you from the start, and it's amazing that you took it at this age of your life, because I actually considered starting singing late, right, Billy? Because
you did.
I started at 32.
I started at 7.
But that's ridiculous.
60 years I've been doing this.
But 32 years old is relatively late, Jimmy, to start off something. Luckily, I made a living at it, but yours is even double. I mean, 20 years even later than I started.
Right. Yeah.
It's amazing, and you've doing some
mid-50s.
That's incredible. So 25 years after I started, and I was late, but no, and I want to let you know that you're welcome to come on here anytime, because we do get a lot of views. I mean, we just started this podcast, maybe 3 months ago, Billy? 2 months?
Yep, we got 9.
We've done about 9 shows.
This is actually number 10.
This
is the 10th one we have in the can. So this is it's been good. It's been fun. It's been a learning experience, obviously. It's very difficult. I mean, I'm not a professional with color and all this stuff. Being able to mix the color on the screen and all that stuff from his face to your face, because I got close-ups and
the bottom line is, Jimmy, the content.
That's what it is.
We get content. We had whoever we have on. We talk about their craft, what they do tonight, what you do, why you started. And that's basically what we're doing, just reaching some content. We're not making money. We're just having a good time at it.
Get your name out there, as well as doing that with people that I have on my page, probably, and Joey has on his page. They probably don't. Maybe they don't know you, so you're getting more exposure.
Well, between Johnny, myself, and Billy, you're talking at least 20,000 followers.
Right.
And then I have 4 Facebook pages, which a lot of the similar people too. So.
Right.
And then I have an Instagram page, which really doesn't. I don't really do much activity on that for some reason. It's just not my audience. Facebook is my audience. and that's why I stick with it, because I know my audience.
Yeah.
So it's an age bracket where
It's the demographic.
demographic.
Exactly.
I mean, you got down from 40 to maybe 80.
You can enjoy, because the statement says if you enjoy what you do, it's not work, right?
Absolutely. No, someone said to me years ago, try to figure a way how to make money at something you like, and you'll never work a day in your life. So I've been fortunate. I mean, 32 years in this business. I'm not going to lie though, Jimmy. I'm burnt out and tired. I've gotten a little bit lazy, and Billy will tell you. I think Billy feels a little bit like myself.
After the heart surgery 3 years ago, I've slowed down considerably.
Well, what's my excuse?
I don't know. You just on my coattail of being lazy.
No, because Johnny, I wish Johnny was here tonight.
Huh?
Johnny, when I tell you that guy, I don't know how old he is because he won't tell us. But I know he's a little bit older than us, Billy, but that guy is on the road. I'm telling you, he gave me a list of where he was last week. I think he was as far as Fall River, Cape Cod, Dedham, Norwood, all over that area, west of Boston. And he was back in Saugus by noon. I go, that's insane. I would have an anxiety attack just driving there, because I don't like driving anymore. I don't know what's going on. I hope it's just a passing thing, but that's why I admire you, Jimmy, to be taking on something so big, important at such a late age. It's amazing. I feel you give me a little gust in my little skip in my step, I guess, by hearing stories from him. But anyways, anytime you want to come back, Jimmy, anytime you want to promote something, we get a nice audience. I mean, not a lot of comments, but the views are there. Right. And I don't know what we have tonight, Billy. You know?
I haven't. No, I haven't.
We'll check it out.
On Facebook.
But what you do is go on Billy's page and share it to your page, and just add to it.
That's one of the things. You know my friend Jay Morocco, Boston Guido, right?
Oh,
you know
God,
Jay?
yeah.
I love him. So
Good guy.
Jay's been jumping all over me a bit to, get the page, get the regular page done, or the website, something done, right?
Yeah, the website, yeah.
Yeah, so I've never done it. I just have my Facebook account, Jimmy Shirts, or my Instagram, Jimmy Shirts Boston.
Hire a young girl or a young guy to take it to the next level. They're much more tech savvy.
You see these kids now. You see these kids, huh? The Tommy Garino and the Prosciutto Papi. You see their videos?
Yeah.
I just did
I seen you at New Deal.
Yes. So we filmed there a couple of weeks ago. But those kids, fucking tremendous.
They're killing it. They're killing it.
They got the social media stuff down pat.
Do you know
what
Tommy?
the Christ they're doing.
You know Tommy?
Yes.
He's Boston kid.
Yes.
I'd like to get him on. Would he come on here, you think?
Reach out and give him a call.
Well, I'm in New Deal all the time, so I know. Yeah. Funny thing is, one quick question before we go. My cousin who lives in Louisiana, he come in Boston about over the summertime, and I took him to get a sandwich. He was there a couple of days ago, overnight in Chelsea, and then he went to New Deal again without me. And anyway, I took him there in the summertime, and he looked around, and he seen all those yellow stickers with the subs. And he goes, "Wait a minute, this place looks familiar." I go, "You've seen it online. Imagine in Louisiana."
Right.
No, I'd love to get the kid. What's his name?
Tommy.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Tommy and Chad.
There's a couple of guys from New York who are hysterical too.
Oh yeah, Little Mo and then
Scaletta.
The Scaletta.
They're
twins.
funny bastards.
There they are.
Oh, I
love when they do their things together.
Well, they criticize Boston and New York.
Yeah.
That's hysterical.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to get Tom. Can you make a call to him?
Absolutely.
All right.
That's the other thing, is getting somebody that knows the shtick how to use social media for your benefit. That's huge.
I was just going to say
that's huge.
Exactly.
So
young kids, got to get them young.
Exactly.
Get a young guy or young girl.
And me, I don't know if it's the laziness of it all or whatever the Christ it is, but I'm not a technical guy.
Neither am I. Neither am I. That's why you need a younger person, like a guy like Tommy, or even somebody else that's like Billy has Billy's girl has a son that's very brilliantly technology, right?
She's just brilliant. Period.
All right, but with technology, he's looking for something. Look at Jimmy. Even if you have to pay someone to organize your social media, our generation's not that swift when it comes to this,
exactly.
and then we had to face the facts.
Right.
The generation, it's just a different breed. They can't do much else, but they do technical stuff.
Yeah, they do.
But well, thank you so much, Jimmy, for being on tonight, and we loved having you. And on behalf of my friend Johnny Pease, who couldn't make it here tonight, and Billy Pizzullo, thank you guys out there if you watch tonight.
Thank you so much, guys,
and
for
thank you,
tuning
Jimmy.
in. We appreciate you, and Jimmy, Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you very, very much. All right, guys, we're out of here. We love you. We'll see you next week, next Monday. Next Monday, we're going to be here at 7 o'clock. We'll have another special guest. We'll announce it during the week.
Who will that be?
We'll let you know during the week. Stay tuned.